I'm not going to sit here and tell you that seeds are better than clones always, or that clones are better than seeds always, because that simply isn't true. There's a time and a place for each. Now, when you're growing from seeds, you're starting fresh. You're starting the plant from seeds. If you are growing from clones, they are cuttings from a mother plant that was selected for specific characteristics. So clones are all going to be identical to the plant that they were cut from. And if they're the same, if they're the same strain, if they're clones cut from the same mom, then they're all going to be identical to each other. And that is the main advantage of clones, is that you're going to have exactly identical plants. They're all going to have the same care schedule, the same feeding schedule, the same growth pattern. They're going to have the same needs. They're also going to produce the same final product, which is really important for commercial flower production. If you're growing for your personal stash, then it might not matter as much if you have some variation in your finished product. In fact, you might prefer that, to have a little variety. But if you're growing for commercial flower production, then clones really are your best choice. Now, clones do have some downsides, right? If you are getting your clones from someone who is using either really old old plants to cut on, or they're just not keeping their plants clean, right? They might have diseases. Hop latent viroid is a big one. They might have pests that they're just not taking care of. Then you could end up contaminating your grow with something really common like spider mites, or with something really terrible like hop latent viroid or russet mites, which are very difficult to get rid of and can destroy your crop. So sourcing clones is something that is very important for commercial cultivators, and it's also something you want to be very careful about. You can check out our integrated pest management strategy and our hop latent viroid test results on our website. I'll link that down below. But when it comes to clones, the main downside is that they can bring pests and diseases into your grow if you're not careful who you buy them from. And the main plus side is that they're all going to end up being identical in cultivation and as a finished product. Now, seeds also have a lot of advantages. The main advantage to seeds is just how viable they are. Seeds are sturdy. Seeds grow tap roots, whereas cannabis plants grown from clones do not grow a tap root. They grow roots laterally. So seeds are going to grow a super sturdy main central stalk, and they're going to be able to hold themselves up more. They also need more pruning, quite frankly, underbrushing and pruning than clone plants do in cultivation. But seed plants, the main advantage of seeds is how just robust and how sturdy they are, how they can sometimes even grow without trellising or support, depending on how big you let them grow. And quite frankly, they also just are not as likely to carry pests and disease into your cultivation space. So the downside with seeds, however, is that besides needing more pruning, they produce slight variations in the finished product. So you're going to notice phenotypical variation in plants grown from seed, just like how, if you have siblings, right, or you have friends that have siblings, you'll notice how the siblings that come from the exact same set of parents are going to look a little bit different. They're going to sound a little bit different. They're not going to be exactly the same. And that's the truth as well with cannabis seeds. It's a little bit different in humans than it is in plant genetics, but essentially these plants are going to have some variation from each other. Some seed crosses are going to express less phenotypical variation than others. And so you're going to want, if you're growing for production and you want less phenotypical variation, you're going to want to select seeds partly because of that, right? Whereas if you're growing for pheno hunting to make your own moms, then you actually want some phenotypical variation. Or again, if you're growing for your own personal stash, then that kind of phenotypical variation in your seed plants is going to be beneficial, because then you can have more variety in your own head stash. So those are the main benefits, benefits and drawbacks to growing from seeds versus